All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Blanca. Oh my God, I can't. All right. Hey, everybody. This is a weird setting for both of us. It's gonna be my first time here doing a video. Sorry, there's like a speck in my face. Um, I am currently sitting in my new room. I have been moving a lot of stuff around. I got this new bookshelf, and as you can see, it's not organized. I'm planning to organize it this week. It is currently spring break right now. I just want to share a lot about who I am. So, who I am as an individual, what I do, and just having a little bit of a conversation, you and I, face to face. You're seeing me from the other side of the screen, and this is my first time having any sort of face to face interview talking about myself. Because usually, if you don't know me, I am a creator, content creator, hosting interviews with other individuals, and I'll get more into that. But I'm usually the interviewer. I've never been the interviewee, and this is a bit about myself and my life and my story and who I am. And I apologize if I keep on touching my face. I just feel like there's something on my nose, so I keep on picking at it. Just bear with me. But I'm currently sitting in my room. This is a an area where I am frequently in and out. Right now, I just don't currently have everything in my room just yet. So, I'm readjusting. But, anyways, enough about that. I'm chit chatting a lot about my room. But to get into it, my name is Blanca, and I am a first gen student. I am the creator and founder of the First Gen Survival Guide on Instagram. That page that you see, if you possibly got to this video, you possibly are familiar with my Instagram page. Um, I will dig deep into that as much as it's important to who I am. It is sort of a virtual diary as well of who I am. Um, Gosh, there's so much to say. Oof. Going back to it. Um, so my name is Blanca, and I'm a student. I mean, I go to college. I attend Cal State Fullerton. Gosh, this is so hard, but we'll get through it. I'm not gonna stress this out any longer, but I'm a first gen student and I attend Cal State Fullerton. Um, I was a former community college student. So I was a former community college student at Fullerton College, and I college student. I attended Fullerton College, which was my community college. I attended there for 2 years, and I transferred to Cal State Fullerton. I am currently attending Cal State Fullerton, and at community college, I actually studied administration of justice. So I was hoping to go into the criminal justice field. I wanted to become a probation officer, so I had some sort of connection in relation to the law enforcement area, and that stems to my childhood. Gosh, going into our future professions, what I've noticed from my personal experience usually relates to your childhood, what you've seen, what you wanted to do. A lot of that impacts your future self and who you want to become and the change you want to do in the world from your point of view when you're younger, if that makes any sense. When I was younger, there's a lot going on, and we'll dig into that as well. But again, the reason for me going into law enforcement or having this approach into law enforcement had a lot to do with my young younger self. But I completed 2 years of administration of justice. That is an AA, and that was my AA for transfer, as well as completing undergrad credits for transfer. I actually got accepted to Cal Poly, Cal State Fullerton, and I was waitlisted on Long Beach. I was interested in Long Beach, but it wasn't like a big hit in the face if I didn't go, and maybe it was a sign from the universe to not go. But I was intrigued about Cal Poly. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go and maybe I can go to Pomona and go to take classes there. And you know what? During that time, I was like, it may seem like a drive, the gas I'm gonna spend to make it out to Pomona. So I'm like, Cal State Fullerton seems like a best shot. And you know what? Deep in the back of my head, I was like, I'm probably gonna go to Cal State Fullerton at the end of it, to be honest, because it's relatively close to where I live and it just makes sense for me personally. Now I transferred over and I was an admitted like criminal justice major. So I was transitioning into the criminal justice field, the major, like making it concrete. But at Fullerton College, my time there in my last semester, I think I took a couple of psychology courses because I also was interested in the UCI system, the UC system. I was wanting to pursue UC Irvine to major in criminology because I saw the program was pretty good and I really wanted to attend. But I was set bound, on the criminal justice system, on the criminal justice field at community college, but once I started applying for transfer, I don't know, something in me just said like, I don't want to go to UC anymore. I didn't, I think it was like midway applying for the UC schools, and I even attempted, or I was like laying out my UC like PQIs or PIQs, sorry. And I was ready to answer those questions and just formatting my my letters and getting everything um, established for the application to apply. But you know what? I was like, let's go to Cal State. It is affordable to some degree, and it it's relatively close. And I was like, Cal State Fullerton, shoot or shot. And I got accepted, and I'm like, yay, I'm a Titan. Because I'm like, okay, let's go to that school, and I'm gonna pursue the criminal justice degree. I was excited. But as I transferred, in my last semester at Fullerton College again, I took these psychology courses. Like I took research methods. I think even the general psych, and it was just so intriguing. Like I took the base courses to even like switch the major. Not knowing that that was my plan initially, but I had the opportunity once I transferred over to Cal State Fullerton. Once I transferred to Cal State Fullerton, I was able to work towards a psychology degree. That's when I started deciding or like creating my credits towards a psych degree, favoring that degree because in my last semester at Fullerton College, taking those courses, I took it with a professor, and hopefully he listens to this. Maybe Professor Brian Lopez was an amazing professor at Fullerton College, and I actually took. It wasn't just two, actually, it was three of his courses that I took, and it was incredible. He really inspired me and supported me to pursue psychology, and there were a lot of opportunities in psychology. The one thing about psychology is that it's very broad, and it's a lengthy process because you have to get all these certifications and commit to the field because it's always evolving and there's always something new to learn. Just like in any field, but any specific field you're entering, and as you get into psychology, since it's very very broad, you're going to concentrate on certain topics within that field. So I was just looking around, researching, and I was like, this connects a lot to my passion, my purpose in life, and what I want to achieve. And it really connected to my view from the criminal justice background. So I just pursue psychology, and then my MO, my big mission, my big goal, my personal goal was to really dig deep and understand and learn and be so open minded and optimistic to this field because it's very foreign for my personal life. It's foreign. We never really talked about mental health. I didn't even know what mental health was. We use the terms crazy and whatnot, but once I took his courses, learning about these different disorders, the ways to research it, how researching certain topics, taking those exams, learning about assessments and the theories, it really opened my mind and it really gave me a different perspective of how I'm approaching my life and how this field is important to the way I'm currently living and what I'd like to pursue in the future. My goal is to go into psychology, the field of psychology, learn the assessments and the practicum because I would like to go into psychiatry. I would like to prescribe medications, but also have the holistic view on the mind and body in regards to bringing awareness, building up that reputation in the mental health field and bringing awareness to the community, specifically minorities, but also just the whole population in general, because the mental health field has been underrepresented and has been overlooked for so long, even communities such as minority communities, Hispanic culture, different cultures, um, have been avoidant to what mental health is. And it has struck me in my personal life. It has affected my whole family, to be honest. I'm be truthful to that. It has affected my whole family, a lot of traumatic experiences that, we have tried to learn to under I try to learn to live with, to be honest, how to learn to surpass those experiences and just really cope with them. We had negative, horrible coping mechanisms on how to navigate these these traumatic experiences in our own lives and how it affects us as adults. So, digging deep into that, my mission is to go into the mental health field and really shake it up. Um, I know I can't do it alone. It's a big goal, but I'm hoping to get in the field and work with like minded people so I can then make a change, make an impact, really focus on this because it has affected myself and my family and many other people that I know. And it is just a struggle every day learning how to fight this invisible battle, which essentially that's what it is. And I have experienced it firsthand, my life, both as a young child, but also as an adult, and learning how to overcome that has been difficult. So, my mission in my career has been built on the mental health awareness and how to approach it, how to unlearn a lot of things that I have struggled with as a young adult. I mean, as a young child, learning how to unlearn those negative coping mechanisms, those horrible coping mechanisms that I had to, go back and pay attention to and really identify, learning to identify those, learning to identify my emotions. I mean, we'll dig into that for sure, but again, it's learning the self, learning yourself. And, that's been my mission. But, anyways, a bit about myself in regards to my academic career, my career in general is to really emphasize that mental health, the mental health field, the mental health awareness that we need to have, that we should be comfortable talking about, that we should confront. Because trust me, I have ignored it, I have avoided it, I have been conditioned to avoid it because it's something we don't pay attention to. Personally, I have been paid attention to it as well. And it really affected me in my academic career too. It affects your academic performance. And I will get into that. Again, I get serious about these topics in the tone of my voice, especially when it's something that is very important to me, such as this topic, the mental health field. And I put it as a whole perspective because it is in every avenue that you come across into. Sorry, just readjusting. But yes, that is my goal. I want to go into the medical field and pursue psychiatry. I would also like to go into a master's program to get an MFT right after my bachelor's, just so I'm aware of um, the testing, the assessments, how to provide therapy, the different coping mechanisms, how to incorporate them on a larger scale. But that's my goal, and then pursuing medical school. And I am a very committed person. I know it's gonna be a long road ahead for me, and like anything, it is a lesson, and it's a long lesson. And life is just a big L. It is a big lesson. Life's you walk alongside your life, and it is a path you're taking, and you just enjoy it, and you learn along your journey. The journey is really what matters, not the destination. And I have learned that so far too. It's really the journey, the trials and tribulations that you overcome, that you face, that you interact with, the people you meet. Gosh, the people you meet, I'm telling you, y'all, before the person I was in high school, the young adult I was, barely going into college, never thought I was going to be this individual today, who I am now, Blanca. I mean, being in this space, sharing this community, interacting with others, people from different parts of the country, different part of the nations, like people from different states, different different areas, fields of work, and just collaborating with them, collaborating with classmates, being an open book, being vulnerable, something I never thought I was going to be. I've changed a lot, and if you know me personally, you know how that's happened, and that's continuing to happen. But sorry for the voice crack. But yes, that is my professional goal, my career, something that I have been living by. And you know I know now that things change, and I'm not worried for change. I'm not scared about change. I don't fear it, and I'm very open to it. So if my plans change or get redirected, I'm okay with that, because I have entered into this space right here online with you guys, because I've been redirected. And gosh, redirection is here guiding you to your purpose, to your mission. It's always in there with true intentions, if you have them while you're doing it. But anyways, that is my goal, that is my career, that is what I want to accomplish in this world, and the work that I've done, that I'm doing right now. So let's go back into my page. So the story about my page. Let's start off with the title, because that's always like a catchy thing for a lot of people. A lot of people are just like, it's a catchy title, and I'm for your information, FYI. The title, the whole survival guide, I'm pretty sure you can tell, because it's a ringer. It's like a ding ding in your head for something you've heard before. It gives you like, deja vu, like, hey, I've heard this before. When I was going when I was going through that phase of this creation phase, I was thinking about this TV show that I used to watch. There's no copyright invited, I mean, intended. I'm not trying to um, get a lawsuit or involve myself in some sort of mess in regards to branding or content. But this had an inspiration to the title of my page. Um, I was thinking about that TV show from Nick. I'm a childhood TV fanatic. TV shows, Nick, Disney. I'm gonna be honest. I was more of Team Nick, especially for like the night shows like iCarly. This is a bit about me. iCarly, Drake, and Josh. We all know Josh was cute. Drake had his moments. But who else? Victorious, Zoe 101. When they would play repeats, they would play those too. I freaking love that show too. There are other shows. I can't name them, but those are a couple. And after watching those, I was just like, I remember this one show that I used to watch too. It was Ned's the Classified Survival Guide. It was a TV show about, I believe they're in middle school and they're entering high school, and Ned, the main character, I don't know if you remember this character too, Coconut Head, because he had like a bald haircut, and they call him Coconut Head. Oh my god, I just love the show. But I remember watching those shows. I mean, it wasn't my top, but it was like a good show that I remember, and I would watch that too. It was funny. And so, for some reason, I remember that show because it was a survival guide, and the whole TV show was just about them surviving school, how to survive school, how to navigate that space. I'm like, was like, hey, I'm having trouble with school too. I need a survival guide, right? And so they had the composition book where like literally they would write notes or they would have notes. Each episode was like a lesson learned while in school or even just in life, take it with you. So I think in like their branding for that TV show, they had like that composition book and then they just said Ned's the classified like school survival guide. Like it was like a survival guide for school in their view, their perspective. So then when I was in my whole creation mode, like trying to, just create this. This came out like out of me. It was just spewing. Like I didn't plan any of this. I didn't have any intention about this like going big or starting some sort of like company, some sort of um, content creator manifesto of like big plans with material, like content material. I didn't plan for any of this. I just went with my whims and like my intuition and how I wanted to paint this picture because it happened to me. So with that title, I was thinking about the Ned's the Classified Survival Guide. And I was like, dude, I'm a college student and I'm just dealing with a lot of shit right now. And you know what? I really need something to help me navigate this, something to help me like learn and how to maneuver this space, how to get into these areas, where to go, how to overcome a lot of things, even overcome myself. Because imposter syndrome is real too. Um, so I'm just trying to learn how to navigate all that space, and then it just hit me. It's like, yo, I need a survival guide. Like, I literally need a book to show me where to go. Like, literally a map. Like literally, I need some bullet points to tell me what to do, because I'm just fucking lost. I'm scared shitless for first of all, and I'm literally fighting myself, and I'm racing against time. And with these aspects, I don't know how to, these um these roadblocks in my life, I don't know how to navigate. I'm just like hurting myself and literally just literally, in a sense, just, burning out. And I didn't even know what burnout was, but like just burning out from school, like learning how to just continue moving forward. But, anyways, that was the purpose, or that was the connection towards the survival guide, the first gen survival guide. Um, I needed that material, I needed that information. So then I was like, hey, let's create, or I want to create. I think there's other people like me, other people who don't know what's going on, who don't know about school, who don't know how to like survive school, how to literally survive. Because like as a student personally, I had friends too who were saying that they were trying to really just survive with finances, survive with different things, how to like manage different hats that they wore in their families because they were the first student, and it's difficult. And I was like, y'all, I didn't know how to survive this. So then I was like, you know what? Let me try to make or create a survival guide geared towards first gen students, college students like myself, students who are like me, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with school. Like, literally, what is happening in school, and how to like take a deep breath and really try to focus on ourselves while we're trying to show for a lot of people, not just ourselves. So, I'm just like, hey, yo, we need a survival guide. We need to know how to figure this shit out. Because sometimes when I be asking friends, they're like, I don't know, or I've been trying to figure this out. And I'm like, me too. And we're kind of just lost here and there. So I wanted to create a space, some sort of area where we could share information and exchange ideas with each other, like a networking system. But also, digging more into that, I do wish to push this survival guide, this foundation of this, what the First Gen Survival Guide came to be, to build it into something out of material aspects. So maybe like a potential book or a journal or a planner. I'm just winking because you can tell from my facial expressions what's gonna happen. But anyways, um, as a student, I needed that, and I'll go into what happened. Um, this is gonna be a lot of TMI and something that I had to realize. It was kind of like a slap in the face, like you need to look over here, like pay attention. It was like those signs, like I don't know how it happens, those like weird occurrences, and it's just like boom. Well, mine was at school. Mine, because school is a part of my life. It is a part of who I am because I attend school. I'm going to school for my future. I chose to go to college, and that is my choice, and that is my right to go to college. Now, that's a part of who I am. That's an aspect of my life. What I carry with me as I show up in the world, that is a part of who I am. You know, now school is a part of my life. And in this moment, I was already, setting up the scenario for you. I was already in school. I was at Cal State Fullerton. And I was taking 5 classes, I believe, 2 online and 3 in person. And COVID was happening as well. I think this is springtime, and COVID was happening, and there's a lot going on. Just with me, managing school, 5 classes. I was working part time, like 30 hours, I believe. I'm trying to remember where I worked. I've carried multiple jobs. I Sometimes I forget. I'll look back at my resume. Sometimes the jobs weren't as adequate. You know, in regards as sufficient to work with my school schedule. So I've had like little part times here and there that would fit up and accumulate to a good amount of hours for the week. But I've had multiple jobs, so I'm trying to remember where I worked, but I know I worked a good amount. And excuse me, there was a lot going on. Um, Me just trying to manage my life with school. But since COVID was happening, it was like right in the peak of COVID where it was difficult. We were barely, I think, going back into campus. And that's why I believe I only had like 2 to 3 classes on campus. And it was just a hard transition because I personally, was overwhelmed with my academics at that point of time when I noticed my mom wasn't feeling well. She was actually getting sick during that time of COVID, but it wasn't COVID. It was something very related to COVID, though. Sort of similar symptoms. She had bronchitis, I believe, too, during that time, and so she was at home, wasn't able to work, especially with her condition and with the height of everything going on. Um, I was very fearful of her health. She was my concern because I come from a single parent household. She is my main household income, and she's my biggest supporter. So it was difficult. Sorry, it brings a lot of hardship because it's hard. It is so hard, and I had to learn how to really not be hard on myself. That was the biggest lesson I learned. But my mother was getting sick, and with school, uh, my mother was getting sick, and I didn't share this, but I'm the middle child, but I don't have my 2 older brothers um, with me, 2 older siblings. They're out living in different states. Sorry, different parts of the California, far parts. And so it was just myself, my mom, and my two younger siblings. Um, so it was difficult because my mother was getting sick, and I was managing a lot with school. It was hard to take on those classes and then take on extra hours. I actually, since my mom wasn't working, she was the main household income. She was the household breadwinner. And so I proceeded to require more hours and add more hours on my job sites, which affected my academic performance. Me even attending my classes, me finishing my assignments online. I just went to go work and continue to gain hours because my mother wasn't feeling well again. Um, she was very fragile at that time because COVID was happening, and so during that time, you know, I was gaining hours, um, providing for the house for that period of time. I noticed that slowly I was like deteriorating. I became like fatigued. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't some. I was sometimes I wasn't sleeping at all. Um, I kept to myself. I wasn't saying much to my mom and just be coming in at home. Hi, mom. How are you? And it was very simple. But had to deal with a lot, and I was fatigued, tired, wasn't sleeping right, and I started becoming resentful of my time at home. I just wanted to leave. I didn't it didn't feel right being at home anymore. I was angry with everyone around me, and I couldn't figure out why. I honestly did hate myself too, to be honest. Like I said, I wasn't eating right. I was fatigued, tired, cranky. I think I was even twitching at times, getting little twitches, because I was intaking a lot of caffeine, an extremely heavy amount of caffeine, trying to make it into my classes, trying to stay up even longer to finish homework. And there was one time specifically under the tremendous amount of weight from everything. I was in my car one time, getting into class. I parked. I was just doing, just regular day, getting ready, going to class. I dropped off my siblings. I rushed over to my school, found parking, and I remember like nothing would work. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I went and I parked in. And I remember turning off the car and like I just threw my keys to the side of passenger side. I was like, I can't do it. I literally told myself I can't do it. Um, I grabbed onto the steering wheel and I said like I can't do it. I was um I was at my last break. I mean, I was just done. I didn't get any support. I couldn't find any support at that time because I didn't know how. It was a big lesson to be learned during that time, and I just couldn't carry on. I just even like just missed class. I just laid there in my car, you know, trying to figure out what to do, because a lot of thoughts were racing through my head, and it took it took all this pain that punched me in the face. Really took this for me to pay attention, to really like direct me to myself. that happened for a reason, and it just showed me to like really give myself grace. I told myself during that, after I cried, I was just so upset. I was like, I can't do it. I felt like a failure, and that was one thing I didn't want to feel like. For myself, I didn't want to fail myself. I didn't want to fall, call myself a failure. I didn't want to fall off that horse that I was on, that stepping stool that I was on to my future. I just was unsupported from a lot, and I needed to learn how to support myself and how to carry on. And that really showed me all the damage that had happened around my life, my circle, my personal life. Like everything was just difficult. I was literally hurting myself and essentially causing burnout, which that's what happened. I burnt myself out. I gave up. I literally crushed my performance because I was just trying to manage everything out without saying a word, without paying attention to myself, my emotions, what was happening to me, my self care, giving myself the love and support that I needed to, telling myself that I was, smart, intelligent, beautiful, brave, and strong. And I wasn't. I was just like I kept on going because I had to be there for my mom. I had to show up for my siblings. I had to be the example. I had to, also fight for my dreams, but also maintain a lot of things that were happening at home. And with all that comes, a lot of damage because you lose yourself in the process. You really do. Um, just sharing that, noticing how lost I was, how damaged I became. I just started hearing a lot of good content on Instagram actually. You know, started moving forward. I was seeing a lot of content on Instagram, like, motivational quotes. I was listening to a lot of people sharing their stories. I was listening to some friends to share their experiences and how their experiences weren't shared as well. How scared they were to even talk about them. And I was talking to one friend, and I remember she was like, "Whoa, is everything okay? Like, are you sure? Like, how are you? Like, why haven't you said anything? Like, what's going on?" And then we kind of just had like this, what's it called? Like a trauma bond. And then we started sharing and just spilling things here and there. It's like it we literally lifted up a curtain to like have a sigh of relief to share that. And we literally, I think we were starting to cry a little bit. And it was because it's too much, for someone to carry all that weight, especially a student, having, somewhat similar experiences, but just knowing that we literally not only carry our backpacks to class, we were carrying extra rocks, extra weight, like weights, to class, trying to walk into school, trying to walk into these different spaces with extra junk in our backpacks. And it's like, and that's how we're set out in the world, that's how we're walking out in there, in the world. And it's hard learning to push through that because you don't know how to. Just walking blindly and just trying to figure it out, which, it is a lesson that it's like I would have appreciated, I would like to appreciate more support, more guidance, and appreciate a space where you can share with others. When I had that sharing experience with a friend of mine, with another individual who understood me and, would ask me, Blanca, as an individual, how I'm doing, because I was going through so much that, people were forgetting to ask about me when I was, again, tending to other needs. I noticed that I just walled. I'm like, oh my God, I mean, I'm not doing that great. You know how some people are like, oh yeah, I'm doing great, which, I would say, I would brush it off. I'm like, I'm okay. school's okay. Like that's the general like the okay check-in. But it really takes someone to really ask like, are you sure everything's okay? Like, can you please tell me like, I know it may be difficult, and for some people it's hard to share, but I was just like, it's hard. I'm going through a lot right now, and that's when I started sharing a bit more about what's happening, and then we kind of just shared, you know, me sharing kind of had to let her open up to share, and that's when I realized I'm like, wow, the power of sharing your story, the power of sharing your experience, the power of your voice in general. Very beautiful. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I've changed so much, and what you change is growth if you are changing in the right direction. And I grew that during that experience. I grew. Going back, like, I saw a lot of motivational quotes, a lot of educational material pop up on my Instagram, my personal Instagram. And then it just dinged to me. I'm like, I'm on social media. I see some things here. I'm like, why don't I take hold of like the mic and try to share something of myself, share something that I could provide to other people just like me, just like a student, a fellow student like me, who's going through a tough time facing different adversities at the same time, facing different challenges, facing the challenge of a mental battle, which is a mental shift. Going to college is like a huge transition within itself. Like managing that's a whole different, you know, cycle, like, a whole different challenge. And so I wanted to create a space where I could share my experience, but also share the experiences of others so we can learn from each other and grow simultaneously with each other. So then I created that page on Instagram. That's when I was like, clicked. I need a survival guide, and I want to dedicate it to the first gen students out there, just like me. I'm a first gen student, and will always be a first gen student. I need to learn how to navigate the space, how to network, how to apply my skills to my field, how to build a resume, who to talk to, how to talk to my professors, how to structure a personal statement, facing the obstacles like imposter syndrome and other managing my self care, my well being, learning to share and be vulnerable, and learning how to utilize that as a tool for success, as a tool for empowerment and courage. And that's where I began the whole first gen survival guide. That's where I began the um the page. I created that. I went on to Instagram. I believe it was my personal, and I just created. I transitioned into the whole public. So it was like a personal that had barely started. It was like 10 followers. And then because I just literally I had gotten the account just to look at content, like to swipe on Instagram. I wasn't posting photos of myself. I'm not very photogenic. I'm not on camera on the time. That's what I'm saying. This is a complete different shift. And I really do believe that this was curated and like geared to me. So I I started posting like a video of myself, like, oh, getting ready for school, or like, school. Looking back at my posts, I think it was like, oh, school life. And then it's kind of cheesy going back to my first ever post. It's just funny, but I think it was like getting ready for school. And then I came across someone on Instagram because the title, I had created the page just with the account name, and it was a First Gen Survival Guide. And I think I even tried to have a logo. Like I had a little logo before, and I had posted like a day of a school, like a day getting ready for school. It was getting ready for school. And then I came across different pages, and I was just liking stuff related to school, related to college, related to First Gen experiences, related to um, money management as well, because I was interested in that. And then these different pages would refer, the suggestion context on Instagram. So I was following different pages. I was circling that social media platform. Then people would follow me, and then I remember I had my first interview. Like I set up, I don't know why I had this idea, but I was like, I want to interview someone just like me so I can ask them about how they feel, but what they went through while in college and what they're continuing to go through, in their space. Because you as a freshman student will always be the first gen. You are walking into the space of making your trademark here, um, as an individual, you know, in the education space, in the professional setting. You're learning to navigate that space firsthand, walking through it. So I interviewed my first um, interviewee, and she shared her. I believe it was Jen. Jen was my first interview on financial enlightenment, if I'm not mistaken. And if you go to my page, you can definitely follow all the interviewees that I've had. But she was my first interviewee, and then I took the interview, and I was like, wow. I was like, I like this, even though it was weird. Like even the questions, like I asked good questions, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I interviewing these people? But it was like there's a purpose because I want to know, and I just couldn't believe that I put myself on camera. I was getting my little setup ready, and I was like, yay! And it's funny, but I came across incredible people. I also connected with Lily Hogan. She's an amazing woman that I also connected in the very beginning of my peak of when I was starting this journey. So those incredible women really supported me. Like that was a support system. Connecting with those people really supported me and encouraged me to go into this space for me to put myself out there and share this with everyone else. That's when I knew the power of individuals, of like-minded people supporting you and pushing you into your future, into your divine self, like pushing you to your purpose, your power, and the power you behold with your actions. So, I mean, I was just mind blowing, from this negative, like this bad negative turning into a positive, which took a lot of work turning it into a positive. Trust me, it takes a lot of work to get there. And I did the work and I continue to do the work. It gets hard right now too with bumps on the road, but you got to learn how to navigate, right? As a freshman student, you're always learning how to adapt continuously. With us in COVID, while students are in COVID, we had to learn to adapt online, going back in person, going back online, transitioning from one thing to the other. It's difficult, but the biggest strong suit that we have is that we're adapters. We adapt to different settings, and it is difficult, but we will get there. So that going off into that, those were my first interviews, and then it blew from there. I started creating more interviews, started talking to mingling with a lot of more people. I started having students were reaching out to me. Students from I think Boston, like Massachusetts, were like DMing me. I was very open to DMs. I still am. DM me too if you want to link up and you want to connect about sharing your story. So I created this platform, and it started becoming a community like outlet, a networking space for a bunch of other students. So then, started grabbing or like connecting with other students, asking them to share their experiences and just put it out there for other people to get some advice and hear from others. So then, I updated the logo. Now you see that the logo's there, and that's the one I've been keeping and the one I would like to continue to keep. But it's still fresh, I believe. I'm gonna say we're almost to a year now, or we actually hit a year with the first gen survival guide. We're about to hit a year. If I'm not mistaken, I will go back and look at the dates and times of my posts, but we are coming up to a year, and we have grown a lot. Both myself, I have grown a lot, but also the community in the space that I hold has grown a lot. Um, so it's out there. That's the first gen survival guide, and that's a bit about me and the first gen survival guide. Now I will leave you with this.